Check it out. Brian here. I'm going to do a quick tutorial on using Lightroom Mobile on your phone. Now, I can show you here, this is a before and after of an image that I edited. So we're going to go ahead and let's pick another image here. And got this selfie, same scene. And I'm going to go ahead and walk you through on how I do this. See, access previous other versions here. So we're not going to do that. Now, this is our scene. This image is taken with an Insta360 X2. And just from looking in here, definitely could use a little bit of adjustments. So what I did was I uploaded this image into the Insta360 Studio, chose my crop that I wanted, and then exported that crop and imported into my Lightroom. So now I am on my Samsung phone and I'm going to edit this image and show you what we can do. Now, so you see this one here, flat, similar tone, and with some adjustments and some different masks, I was able to edit the image to look like this. So we're going to go ahead and do the same thing with this selfie shot that I have here. So you got me standing here, peace sign, holding the Insta360. Got a great view of the waterfall there. I did a horizontal crop, and we could always zoom in, crop it as a vertical as well. But we're going to go ahead and just edit this whole entire image. Now, I like to start off with a baseline set of adjustments, starting with your exposure. So this is basically your basic module if you're going to be on Lightroom Classic on your computer. Got color and different effects here. So we'll go ahead and start from left and work our way down to the right. And you could also hit auto. Auto, you see, it does a decent job. Not as dark, not as flat, and brought up a little bit more of the color. But I still think we could use more adjustments. So I'm going to go ahead and start with my exposure slider. Zoom out a little bit so I can look at my highlights as well. And that looks pretty good. Got contrast. Contrast, we could darken it a little bit because I already know I'm going to come in with these other sliders and do some other adjustments. Now with highlight, if you go highlights too high, you'll blow the sky out. And surprisingly, we actually have some detail and color in the sky. So I'm going to go ahead and bring those highlights way down because I like how the sky looks with the highlights down. And if you notice, I got darker, and so did some of these other areas, but that's fine. We'll be able to adjust that. Shadows. Sometimes people push the shadows to like 100%. You kind of get that like HDR kind of look. In this case, you know what? Let's do it. We're going to push it to 100 because we're going to do some other things here to help minimize that too much of a HDR effect there. Now, I put the highlights pretty low, as you can see here. But what we can do, we could get some of that color back with our white slider. So what I'm going to do, think about there. It looks pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad. And then we have blacks. Now, because I pushed the shadows up really high, as you see here, the blacks, if you push your blacks up high, it's gonna bring up even more of those dark areas. And then now it's yeah, very little black. I want more contrast, so you know what, we're gonna go darker on the black here. Probably about there. That looks pretty good to me. Now I could hold the image. Just give me my before and after there. So just from using one module on Lightroom here on my phone, which is the same as your basic module on Lightroom Classic, I was able to get the image to look like this to this. But we're not done yet. We're still going to go a few steps further. As far as white balance and color, we get sliders here to kind of see what it looks like. In this case, I think where it was fine. Now, it does, to me, have a little bit of a green hue. So we're going to just correct that with a little bit of magenta. That looks okay to me. We could even go down. Let's see. Yeah, that's not bad. Vibrance, this came up automatically when we hit auto. And let's see. We don't want it to look like that's too much. Please, please, people. Don't do this to your photos. It doesn't look good. It doesn't. So we're gonna play with the vibrance here. And what vibrance does is it's different than saturation. Saturation, it's gonna bring up the saturation in all the colors that are in your image here. But we don't want that. And what vibrance does, it kind of picks and chooses what colors to make pop. And in this case, we're going to bring our vibrance up, and we'll backtrack to our other tab here for light. And I'm going to bring that contrast down, because when I brought that vibrance up, it's a little bit too poppy there for me. But I know my tools, so I could bring my contrast down. You see how it dulls it down a little bit? And that's exactly what I want to do. So what we're doing here is we're dialing it in back and forth. And I could go ahead and go from before and after. And that's looking pretty good. I like that. Now, we'll go back to our color module. And if we want, we could go to grading. And we could also go to color mix. And you got your same type of color adjustments like you do on your Lightroom Classic. You have different colors that you could pick. So let's say we just want to affect the blue color, right? We want to turn it purple. Or if we want to make the blue only more saturated. In this case, maybe a little bit. Luminance is going to be how bright or dark that specific color you're choosing is. We're going to leave it at 0 there. I noticed there's some green. And I kind of like the green, but we don't want it to look too fake. So I'll leave the hue there. Saturation. Luminance a little bit darker. Now, I'm looking at this, and I think it's getting pushed a little bit too much here. So I'm actually going to dial this vibrance back down since we adjusted some of these colors in the mix here. Yeah, I think that looks a lot better. You know, we want it to look good, but we also want it to look natural. And the thing is, what we don't want is, we don't want an image that looks like someone vomited a bucket full of different paint colors out onto your image. And to me, that looks pretty good. So we'll go ahead and do a quick comparison. Bam, bam. Awesome. That's great. Yeah, I'm really happy with that. So we'll go to blur. This is a wide image. There's really no depth of field that we need to create there. Effects. Now, a lot of people love playing with vignetting when they're first starting out. It's just, there's a right and a wrong way to use it. And we'll go over that in a bit. So first, let's go ahead and start from our effects here. Texture, I'm going to leave that alone. Clarity. This is a nice tool that I use all the time on Lightroom Classic and in a lot of my landscape work. When it comes to portraits, it's not a tool that I like to use, but definitely for something like this, it just makes everything have a little bit more detail. You can see that change there. And there, I think that looks pretty good. Now, dehaze, I typically don't need to use it unless the lighting situation calls for it. In this case, I'm not going to use the dehaze tool. Now, vignetting. It's okay to use a little bit of vignetting so our eyes could focus on what we want so your eyes can focus on the subject or what you want highlighted in the image. Now, in this case, I want a little bit, very little. And I am in the center, and that's fine. And, we don't want that sharp, hard edge. So I'm going to feather out all the way. And I'm also going to, the brownness higher, feather higher. Yeah, that looks great. I like that. If you can't see what you're doing, you could darken it a lot to see. In this case, my midpoint is okay here because it's focusing on the waterfall and my face a little bit, and I like that. And then I'll go back to my actual amount of vignetting I want. In this case, just a little bit, like that. Let's see. Wow. It's a lot of difference already. The next thing I'm going to do is see if there's anything distracting that I could help alter in the image to make it look better. Now, let's see. Right here, that looks like a possible issue. So let's go ahead and create a mask and see if we can fix that. Select a brush here. And let's see. I just need a little tiny brush here. Like that. I'm going to go to effects. I think the dehaze should fix that. A little bit of dehaze. Change color tone just a hair there. Saturation just a little bit down. And here we can see. So that looks, you know what? Here's another option. Let's go ahead and get rid of that mask. And we'll go to our eraser tool. And if you see here, I have generative AI selected. I'm going to select my brush size. That's good for me. And let's just select that little area. And we're going to let the AI eraser fix it. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. I think that looks fine. So now, doing my pixel peeping. Seeing if there's anything else that I would want to change. Let's see. We have this like tree stump right here. Why not? Let's just take it out. Bam, it's gone. Great, great. Very nice. That looks pretty good. So we're going to go ahead and confirm those changes. And I'm going to go back to the light adjustment here. Because I think we could adjust it a little bit brighter. And we're going to go back to that vignette here. It's a little bit too much for me. And remember, I took this image with my 360 camera. And I chose a very wide cropping, which is why we have so much distortion here on the edges. And if we want to, I mean, we could adjust it. If we go to optics, we could remove chromatic aberration, and we could also put a lens correction. In this case, let's go ahead and do a lens correction. Manually select. There, I'll do Insta360. It doesn't have the camera in there, but what you can do, let's just select the closest thing that we could do, which is neither of those. That's fine. And it made it look worse. Yeah. It looks worse now. Even if let's see if we try to correct it. Yeah, in this case, we're gonna go ahead and not enable this right here. But we will do the chromatic operation. And I see one highlight right here in the mountains. And you can see everything else here is an open shade. This is right about sunset, or almost before sunset. And a little bit of highlights here, that's okay. But this here, we definitely see a light change and a temperature change in color. So I want to even that out. I'm going to zoom in a bit here. And we're going to make another mask with our brush tool. And what I'm going to do is just brush on this area. That. I can also erase the part that I went over too much. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Come back and fill it in. All right. So let's fix that color temperature first. There, lowered it just a little bit. We can keep some of that yellow, but what I want to do is get this contrast down, get those highlights a little bit down, and just kind of make it not too bright as it was before. So here you can see where that mask layer is, and you can see the mask right there with the little paintbrush symbol. Let's go ahead and you can see the before and after. Oh, I kind of painted in the sky there. It actually looks pretty good. I wonder if I should just keep it like that. Let's see. It's not too bad. Now we could also hit erase. So we're going to subtract from that mask tool with another brush. I'm going to go in really detailed here. That was a bit harder. So we're going to subtract again with the brush, and we're going to let the brush have less feather. There we go. Oops. I'm going to zoom in here so I could get a little bit more detail here. Messed up there. It's okay, we go fix it. Just go back to the plus sign. That. Oh, that was wrong. Here, we're gonna go back to this mask, add to mask 1 brush. There we go. I'm getting really close to the edge there. We're gonna go back to our subtract 1. That's too much also. So we'll just go ahead and continue with what we're doing here. There we go. I think it's too much. I'm just gonna go ahead and delete that mask. Trash. Trash. Subtract, brush. Let's go ahead and make it bigger. That's fine. We're gonna do something else to adjust that sky. That's what happens. Sometimes you get sidetracked and lose focus on what you're actually already trying to do. Okay. That looks better to me. Definitely looks better to me. Let's go ahead and try our select sky mask here. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to let it detect the sky. And it did detect the sky and a little bit of the waterfall. Let's go ahead and see how much is affected. And what I do is I kind of grab one of the sliders here to kind of see. In this case, if we make a very small adjustment, it is it's not that apparent. And I think that's fine. I don't want to push it too much. Okay, I'm going to confirm that. All right. So I'm going to look at the image again. Zoom out. Wow. Look at that difference. But we're not done yet. Let's keep going. Okay, here's a gradient mask. And I'm just creating this to have just a little subtle change on the bottom of the image here. So I'm gonna create that mask. Oops. Go back and create it. Mask. Here it is, gradient. Great. Okay, now you see how I could slide and see how the gradient changes. So in this case, I am just darkening it up just a little bit. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. Here, let's confirm those changes. We're going to go back to, so we are on effect now, detail. Detail, sharpening, we can zoom in here. You see how the sharpening kind of, it's a bit too much. Yeah, I'll put just a hair. Now, noise reduction, since this is the Insta360 X2, it's a little bit older model. There is some noise. But we could get rid of some of that noise there. Yeah, that looks good. Looks good. Color noise, I don't really see any. I think it's fine. All right, zoom back out. Yeah, looking pretty good. Now I'm gonna be nitpicky. If I look at this area here, like I like how this area almost looks like a V. This area has some nice details and contrast. It's a little flat here. It's a little bit flat here. So I'm gonna go ahead and create another mask. I'm gonna get a brush, or in this case here, let's do gradient, and we'll go to effects, and we're gonna do clarity to see if I could get some more contrast, and you see it does. We'll go to light, bring out some details, shadow, contrast. Yeah, that's great. I think that's good. Go ahead and create another gradient mask, linear gradient, whatever. There we go. Same thing. Little bit more clarity. Look at that. Just looks better already. And just making small adjustments here. We want everything to look as cohesive as possible and natural. I don't like overdoing the editing. Even though this might seem like a lot of editing for one image. I mean, the results, that is significantly better. Yeah, I like that. I'm gonna nitpick again. It's gonna create another linear gradient. We're gonna do it right here on this side. I think it could use a little bit more lightness and clarity. And then see how that contrast changes it. There, that looks pretty good. It's going to confirm those changes. Bam. There you go. So this is a little bit of a longer tutorial than I wanted to do, but I hope it gives you a better idea on how powerful Lightroom can be on your mobile phone. I mean, these were great tools to achieve a lot of different things that I wanted to achieve in an image. From that to that. Like it. All right, export. We can save, copy to device. Done. That's it. All right, so if you like this, please like, follow, share, and I will be sharing more tutorials like this in the future. And stay tuned for any of my photo outings and walkthroughs. Appreciate it. Take care. Have a good one. Bye.